happy. I think you're going to have quite a year in 2021. I think you're going to be CEO of Employers Holdings, and in November you're going to become president of the CAS. So tell me more.
Yeah. So on April 1, I'll become CEO of Employers. Started working there about 18 months ago and began as their chief actuary. In the back of my mind, hoping that someday I would learn enough to move into the CEO role if that opportunity presented itself, and it came about a lot sooner than I thought it might. But here I am, and I'm working really closely with our retiring CEO, Doug Dirks, to just he's amazing and has been in the workers' compensation industry for decades, and is basically the founder of the company. The company itself used to be the Nevada State Fund, so it was a monopolistic state fund that then went through the transformation of becoming a mutual, and then converted and became a publicly traded company. And so there have been a lot of changes over the last 20 years to Employers, and he has been at the center of all that. So I'm trying to get everything out of his brain over the next 3 months and learn as much as possible. And I'm trying to do the same thing with you and Steve on the CAS side. And that transfer of knowledge, getting up to speed. I was on the board for 3 years, becoming president-elect, and that it gave me a really strong foundation. I mean, I will be the first to admit, and it's in all my interview information that's out on the web and everything, that when I became an actuary the second time on the CAS side, it was I was at a position in life kind of where you are right now. I was very busy with my career, but I just had 3 kids, who were 4, 3, and 1. And so, I spent probably the first 15 years of my CAS career working very hard and raising my family, so I didn't have a lot of extra time to dedicate to the CAS itself, and volunteering and stuff. So once my kids got to that age where they were able to, do a lot on their own and were going off to college and so forth, that's when I said, well, it's time for me to give back. And that's when I joined the board and now, doing the work on with the executives there. It's great. I'm learning a lot. And I think a lot of what I'm learning is going to help me in my role as CEO of Employers, because it's just a really diverse group, diversity of thought, and all the changes that we're making at the CAS right now with our strategy. I'm constantly writing down notes, what I like about what we're doing and how can I apply that in my day job too. So a lot going on.
Interesting. Yeah. I have so many questions for you. First of all, do you mean to tell me that you did your last few CAS exams while you had like a 4-year-old, a 2-year-old, or a 1-year-old?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Because I didn't start taking CAS exams until I had already had my first or both. I had 2 children. Yeah. So they were like 1 and 2. They're 15 months apart. And that's when I started taking CAS exams. Yeah, I can remember the 3 days before an exam. I mean, my husband has always been one of my biggest supporters in my career and so forth. I would actually go check into a hotel across town, and I would do nothing but study for 72 hours straight. I'd eat all my dinners at the hotel. I would just, because it was really hard to get a lot done. I was working full time during the day and then trying to study at night with 3 kids of that age. It was hard. Yeah.
Yeah. The FSA as well, right? Did that come first?
Yeah. So when I got out of college, the company I went to work for, I had done internships at Blue Cross Blue Shield and at Liberty National Life Insurance, and they were both, you would have taken the fellowship on the Society of Actuaries side to work at both of those places, health and life. And so that's just the path that I went down. I started working at Liberty National, and I got all the way to the next, got my associateship and had 9 exams on the fellowship side for the Society of Actuaries when my husband took a job in South Florida here in Boca Raton, which is where I am now. And there are no life insurance companies down here. At the time I was working for Milliman, and I was fortunate enough they said, you can work from your house, down here. But this was 1996. And working from home back then was not what it is now. I had the dial-up modem on my desk, and I had one landline phone. I would yell, don't pick up the phone, when I'd start a program running, because if somebody picked up the phone, then that would, cut the line and of my program or something, you're trying to download something. It was craziness, So I worked for Milliman from my house for about a year, and I said, and I was traveling back and forth from Chicago because that's where we had moved to Boca from. And I just decided I have to do something local. It was just too hard. And that's when a friend of mine told me about NCCI. And I called him up and I said, yeah, I'm willing to start back at 4 exams if you're willing to give me a chance. So I went to work there and got my fellowship pretty quickly on the CAS side.
Ah, got it.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Your story about working from home back then, it makes me think like it's a good thing that, well, it's not a good thing the pandemic happened, but imagine if it happened in 1996.
What would I know? Get right. You were so right. What a different world. I hadn't thought about that. Yeah. All those dial-up modems, the world would be so noisy.
I remember how loud they were. Why were they that loud?
I don't know.
Yes. So yes, you were at the NCCI, and then you went back and became their first female chief actuary. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. So I was there for like 4.5 years, and then got an offer across town, and I went and was chief actuary of a company called Lumberman's for about 12 years. And then Dennis Mealy, who was the chief actuary at NCCI at the time, decided he was going to retire. And I got a call from someone, would you be interested in interviewing? And I was like, well, why not? So I interviewed for it and got the role. And the 6 years that I was chief actuary, those are some of the most fun years I've had in my career. It's just a great team there. I keep in touch with everybody at NCCI. It's just a really great culture and a fun environment. So I'm very happy I went back there.
Oh, that's cool. What's so fun about it? Tell me more. Because you're working with one line of insurance. You go super deep.
Deep. But workers' comp, I've always said, if you can understand that, then you can understand a lot of insurance, a lot of the different insurance lines, because it's kind of, it's got this mix of medical and indemnity, and it's got the long tail. So there's a lot of actuarial estimation and judgment. I had a research team there and a data and analytics team. You get somewhat involved in the political aspects of the world because it's a highly regulated line of business, and NCCI is sort of operating as a liaison between the carriers and the regulators, and all the benefits and so forth in workers' comp are set by the legislators, and they can change those on an annual basis. So we had a big legislative team that priced all of those benefit changes. It was really interesting for one thing, right? Just an interesting line of business because of all the different nuances. But then, like I said, the culture, it's just a really interesting and fun culture. There were a lot of, we tend to promote from within and then hire right out of college, especially in the actuarial area. So my team was about 100. I had about 100 actuaries, analysts, economists, and so forth. So you're always getting fresh, a fresh group from out of school coming in, bringing new ideas, and then you got to see people move up through their career, and the turnover rate there was very low. So you had some great relationships. I don't know. It was just it's a nice place. It's a nice place to work. That's why I went there twice. Yeah.
And then from NCCI, you moved to employers.
Mm-hmm.
Why did you make that move?
So as much as I loved NCCI, like I was saying, right, worked there twice. The one thing that I really enjoy is having real clear metrics on what success looks like for a company.
Oh,
and it's kind of hard at NCCI. I mean, don't get me, we're you've got really successful people that are working very hard, but at the end of the year, so some of the metrics were, we got all of our filings approved as filed. That's important, right? And there's a lot of work that goes into that. It doesn't feel quite the same as did we beat our target combined ratio, or were we able to, exceed our sales goal, or I don't know. It's just not quite as tangible. And so I missed that. And I like the for-profit business world. That's what kind of excites me.
Yeah, look, that makes a ton of sense. That's why I moved to Zurich.
Where did you move to Zurich from?
Guy Carpenter.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So fairly similar, looking to show our expertise, and then moving to Zurich and looking to make a difference to the bottom line. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That makes sense. And did you move with an eye towards one day I want to become the CEO?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, I did. I mean, it's always been something that I've had on, in my mind. Boy, that would be the ultimate achievement, if I could take my actuarial skills, and I've always felt like I'm as much of a business person as I am a true actuary. I wouldn't call myself an actuary's actuary, like the most technical. I like all aspects of the business, and would find myself, getting involved in HR things, or getting involved, just like having an opinion on our marketing strategy, or and I just wanted to to take everything I've learned as over these 35 years of being an actuary and apply it to the bigger picture, so yeah, it was something I really wanted.
It seems not very many actuaries make it to the CEO job, obviously. How did you make that transition?
Well, haven't yet. But how did I, I think it's a mindset, and I think it's just setting your sights on something that you want to achieve, for me, it was showing my worth in a lot of other areas of the business, and just, continuing to try to get involved, and okay, what can we do to improve the top line? What can we do to improve the bottom line? Like I said, marketing, having an opinion on things like that, always trying to improve communication skills. And, I try to spend a good bit of time coaching and pushing myself into I've learned that I need to push myself in areas that are hard, push myself outside of my comfort level. Right. Just like doing the state of the line at NCCI in front of 800 people. I'll never forget the first one I did. I mean, my knees were literally shaking, and somebody had to kind of just push me out there on the stage from behind the screen. I felt somebody like, go, it's your turn, I don't think many actuaries would want to even try to do that. And in fact, I know a lot of people don't want that role at NCCI because they don't want to get up on the stage in front of 800 people and do an hour-long presentation. So it's just pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone, I think. I've tried to continue to do that.
I don't know if you have any tips for people out there, or any things you would recommend in terms of maybe outside of the CAS, courses you've taken, books you've read, podcasts, anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, so I don't know, within the last year, I've taken several Coursera courses, you know.
Really?
I have a membership, you know, and if I have a weekend where I just want to, you know, I might take an hour course on this or that. And I do read out. I just finished reading a book that you recommended.
Oh, really? Oh, yes.
I love that book. My gosh.
It's a great book. It's a great book. It's a great book.
I did. I mean, and that I couldn't put that book down. You know, it was because of the case studies and so much of it spoke to me, especially in my upcoming role. You know, it was like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what I need to be focusing on. And so yeah, I mean, I do a lot of reading, you know, the morning news, the Wall Street Journal, and then some longer term courses on different things, papers. Yeah.
What Coursera courses did you do?
I did the data and analytics course. You know, it's and I have yet to finish it because I don't know. I maybe got into the I don't remember how far along I got into it, but it's good, you know, because it gives you instantaneous feedback. You take quizzes. You have to do some programming in R and so forth. So it was interesting. You know, it's one of those things where I'm not doing that kind of work anymore, but I like to at least spend some time understanding it so that when the people I'm leading are doing that kind of work, I at least can talk the talk, you know?
Okay. Thank you so much, Kathy.
Sure. Have a happy New Year.
Same to you. Take care.
Okay. Talk to you soon. Bye.